Napoli win the Scudetto in a crazy finish to the Serie A season.
And it is all over for the 24-25 European season. So let's take a look and discuss how it all unfolded on this episode 71 of the No Business Soccer Podcast. Snooze, kick us off.
Let's dig in. Yes.
Music
welcome
to my
back.
ears.
Welcome back. And this is a welcome for a lot of people, especially one hype man, Vic, but we'll get to him in a second, okay? You already did your salute. But welcome back to the No Business Soccer Podcast. This is the final episode of the 24-25 seasons. I am your host, Snooze, here with the fam, everyone. Actually, not everyone. I don't know where our boy Danny P's at. He's out playing soccer somewhere. Maybe he's winning a championship, getting a scholarship, something like that. But our boy Brainiac J-Fam on the ones and twos today. And of course, freshly back in the States with a Mexican tan and some margarita on his breath, hype man Vic, what you sipping on, dog?
Well, I'll tell you what, I did have nothing but margaritas, some Bacardi and Cokes, Bacardi and Sprites and everything. So I did need a little bit more class. So what I'm drinking here is a staggering gentleman. It's a riff on a sentimental gentleman, and I'll tell you about that right after you hit that like button. So go ahead and hit that like button. Got the big old ice cube in there too. I don't know if you can see it, but it's frosted. But what it basically is Stag Junior bourbon instead of a scotch, a blended scotch with some walnut liqueur and Benedictine, and is absolutely delicious. It's one of my favorites, and I just need a little bit more class today, because I was drinking out of plastic cups for 4 days straight. And,
hey, that's what I'm talking about. My go-to drink whenever I touch down in a Mexican resort is a Miami Vice.
That's right.
half pina colada, half what is it, a strawberry margarita, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Remember,
it's so good. But if you I don't want to gender classify anything here, but if you are burly, you can't drink that unless you're at the beach. So yeah, I feel you. You got to have something more stiff, more class when you get back to the States. I feel you.
I agree.
Even though I don't think you said you pretty much didn't say you had a Miami Vice.
No, I did not. So, it even has my name on it. Valiente.
So that's my boy. So fancy.
But yeah. So also, just apologies. I didn't post any pictures or anything like that. The resort I stayed at is you could not take pictures at it, and it was an adult resort.
Why?
So you could put two and two together as to why you can't take pictures.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. Go ahead and give us more.
I'll tell you when you grow up, son.
Oh, that's never happening. I will never grow up. Okay, Let's do this then. We have the Serie A, we have La Liga, and we have the Prem to recap, talk about the final match days, how everything shook out, and then, of course, the tables. The tables are oh so important this time around because this is final. This is what's going in to the next season. This is where we ended this season. But before we get through all of that, we have to start here first in Austin, Texas, boots on the ground for the Austin FC Minutes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So while I was at this resort, I was able to open up my phone and watch Austin FC take on Minnesota United at Minnesota United. And I was able to watch our beautiful breakaway goal, first assisted by John Gallagher to Bukari over to Mirto Ozuni, and Mirto Ozuni down to Zan Golmanich instead of Kolmanich because he actually scored a goal. I did like that. Somebody said that. Beautiful ball placement. Saw a lot of that. In the bottom right corner of the net, got us a goal and got us level 1-1 Minnesota United. That's how the game ended as well. Cool little note is that Mikel Dessler is back from injury. He got some minutes in this game, and he's looking sharp and ready to go, and we'll need him for Wednesday night as we play Real Salt Lake, and they come over to Q2 Stadium. Not only is Mikel Dessler back, but it's been confirmed Danny Pereira and yes, and also Robert Taylor. It's Robert Taylor, right? I mean, yeah, Robert Taylor.
Who?
I'm
just kidding. That's rude.
I always forget the first name. I know. They will both be available for this game, so expect them to sub in against Real Salt Lake. And that's our entire injury list. We should be full steam ahead, man. Full go, 100%, all available for us. All available for Nico Estevez, who seemed to be putting the pieces together. We're playing a little bit better, and I'm excited going into this game. And yeah, we'll see you Wednesday night. If you see your boy Hype Man Vec, I don't
Vac,
know why I
Hype
said it
Man
like that.
Vac.
Hype Man Vec. If you see your boy Hype Man Vic, first drink is on me. Come say what's up. Stop laughing, snooze. I see you laughing back there.
All right, got you. Got you.
That's it for your Austin FC Minute. And yeah, we'll see you Wednesday, guys.
Okay. Well, with that, Austin FC Minute with Hype Man Vac. Let's move on to Italy. Let's do it.
To Serie A.
Compose yourself. I know the boy wants to laugh so bad. All right, let's do it. So we're going to go through all of the games that went on. And in Serie A, it was kind of weird because we had 2 games on Friday because we talked about it in the breakdown or the preview. These were the games that were the Scudetto, the final game for the championship in Serie A. So they had those playing at the same time. And the reason they were on Friday is because if Napoli were to lose and Inter were to draw, they would have to go into a playoff. And obviously they have the game coming up for the Champions League final. So they need to push it all up to Friday. And so they got those done. And then on Saturday, we had Genoa and Bologna, Milan, and Monza, because those games didn't mean anything. They had nothing. Obviously, they could have gone maybe up and down on the table a little bit, but they were safe, and there's nothing to play for. And then Sunday, all the games that mattered a little bit more with the Champions League on the line, with the Europe places on the line, and the relegation, of course. So let's jump into all these games, and then we'll talk about the table. So on Friday, Napoli beat Cagliari 2-0, and that makes them your 24-25 Serie A champions. And what a season it has been for Conte's men and men. And this game specifically was really cool to see because McTominay, as we've been talking about all season, coming over from United, he's just been on fire. He actually won the player of the season. I don't know if it was for Serie A total, but I know that for sure he was this player of the season for Napoli. And man, his goal was incredible. It was really cool to see him get one on the final day to win the Scudetto. But then also Lukaku, he turned the clocks back a little bit. He bullied Yeremina all the way to the Cagliari goal. He gets one, and it was great stuff from them. Scenes, if you watch some of the stuff that was going on in Naples, there were fireworks going off. Everything was going crazy. It was really cool to see. And I don't know if this is for some reason I didn't picture Lukaku like just jacked, but he is. He like took his shirt off after the goal, and he had like all these muscles. I don't know. I just thought he was thick. You know what I mean? I thought he's a thick boy, but he's not. He's not one of us. He's a big old freaking jack dude. Anyway, all right. Maybe that's just me. Let's talk about Inter, who they get a 2-0 win over Como, which in a vacuum, a 2-0 win over Como is a great result, especially the way that they ended the season. Of course, that was something that didn't really matter too much for Inter because even though they won, Napoli winning in Naples, their pesky team in Naples, they lost the Scudetto. They couldn't make it back-to-back. But on Saturday, we had some dead rubber matches that were actually pretty entertaining. Genoa get a 3-1 win on the road over Bologna on the final match day, and the way that Vitinha and Venturino, that is a good Italian name, say Venturino, they were linking up very good. It was man, they closed out the season with a bang. All I can say is that I hadn't had a real good reason to watch Genoa for the past maybe a month. I mean, there was a span there where Patrick Vieira had them playing pretty nicely, but to see Vitinho and Venturino linking up and playing, and Vitinho gets a goal and an assist. Venturino gets a brace. He's an 18-year-old kid. I'm just hoping that next season they're healthy, they get a lot more minutes, and then we can see this kind of flourish. Because if that's what we're going to get next season, I can see them doing something. They played really well against a Bologna team that, granted, they had nothing to play for, but that is a very good side. Orsolini's goal too. I didn't talk about it, but Orsolini's goal for the one goal that Bologna had was amazing. I mean, the guy is awesome. I said it last time. He's at an age now where I think they'll probably be able to maximize on his value to the team if they get rid of him. Now they're in the Europa League, so they don't have the Champions League to go on, but it just seems like it's a good time for them to kind of I hate talking about players like their assets, but it's a business, right? He's just so good. I think he ends up going to a bigger club this summer with Champions League aspirations, or in the Champions League, I guess I should say. And yeah, he's just really fun to watch. Okay, moving on to the second game that happened on Saturday. That's Milan and Monza. And Milan in Monza's terrible Serie A season with a 2-0 win. The best goal was, of course, João. Oh, that's a good Portuguese name. João Felix's free kick. I mean, the dude could have had a hat trick in this match if he had a little bit more luck. It just didn't go his way. So the interesting part about this is that Milan wins. They don't have a lot to play for, but they get it done. And now you have to think about all the rentals they have this season with Kyle Walker, with Joao Felix, and then obviously they brought in Jimenez, and they have Tammy Abraham is going back to Roma. So it's just there's a lot of people in this squad, or a lot of players in the squad that there's just question marks over. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all shakes out. They do end on a high note, though, with this win. So that's cool, but there's a lot to figure out in the offseason. And on Sunday, Parma complete the comeback on the road against Atalanta, and the AC Aliens win up 2 goals before Parma stormed back for 3 unanswered, securing their safety in the Serie A for next season. It was a really cool match to see because Parma, I don't get to watch them a lot. I got to watch them a lot at the beginning of the season, but this one was fun. And our Lazio, Vic, fall at home to Lecce in a 1-0 game that Lecce had to play with 10 men for the final half. That is the second game. I don't know if it's in a row. I can't remember if it's in a row, but it definitely in the past 3 matches or 3 or 4 matches that Lazio just couldn't get it done while they were up a man for more than half of the game. Lecce secured their Serie A status with this win, and Lazio, with the loss, obviously, have no European football at all next season. I kind of feel like that's a good thing, too, because they have been, ever since that Bodo Glimt game that they dropped, they have not been the same team. So it's going to be time for them to find themselves, I guess is the best way to put it. But on another note, our Fiorentina get a 3-1 win or 3-2 win over Udinese, and that takes them. And that was the 82nd minute. Oh my goodness, 80-minute winner, or I just call it minute from now on. Why you don't have to. The 82nd minute from Moise Ken, who's been doing it all season for the Viola, and the win sends them into Europe as they'll once again be playing in the Conference League next season. And I think it's just death taxes and Fiorentina in the Conference League. That's pretty much how it goes at this point. Our Fiorentina just always seemed to find a way to get into the Conference League. And I can't say the same for Roma, as they didn't get into the Champions League, but they got a fairly dominant 2-0 win over Torino, but they miss out on the Champions League spot because it was all thanks to Juve. They needed them to lose, and they didn't. But what a season for Roma, regardless of where they ended up in Europe. They looked like they were going to be ending up fighting for relegation, and they end up in the Europa League and right below the Champions League places. Man, a lot of questions that we'll have to talk about when we break down the Serie A season with Claudio Ranieri, how it all turned out and what will be going on in the future. But I'll just say this, all the question marks that are still going to be going into the summer, I think it's better for them to not be in the Champions League. The money might have been nice, but as far as making a run for it, I feel like the Prem teams, they have kind of like a stigma about the Europa League and the Conference League. Like, I heard Forest fans that were just like, "Oh, we're gonna be in the Conference League." Like, ugh, like, dude, you haven't won it. You almost got relegated last season. What are you talking about? But yet, teams in the smaller teams in La Liga and Serie A and all these, they love getting into these European competitions. So anyway, my point is, I think Roma will enjoy the Europa League a lot more than they would have the Champions League. But oh man, poor Venezia. They go into a match knowing that Juve. Must win. They have to beat Juve to win and to go into out of the relegation spots, rather. And if they were going to have a hope of staying up, that needed to happen. And within the first minute of the match, they score a goal. And it just seems like, oh, it is their day. And then in the 4th minute, Juve scores, and it's just like, oh, this sucks. But it's disallowed. And then you're back on that high thinking, man, we're going to do it. This is actually going to happen. Only for it to all fall apart. Juve end up getting the 3-2 win and securing Champions League next season over Roma. And the only saving grace I would say for Venezia is that they needed to win against Juve and have Empoli and Lecce lose. But Lecce ended up beating Lazio, of course. We just talked about that. So they would have gone down regardless if they won or whatever happened with the Juve match. Verona get a 2-1 win over Empoli, condemning them to play in Serie B. I don't know how to say B in Italian. Next season. And so that match wasn't really too much more for that. But that is what happened in your final match day of the Serie A season. Exciting stuff. Vic, show us where the final table, lands this season in Serie A.
Yes, sir. Well, this is where we ended up. Napoli, of course, with that win, like you said a little while ago, win the Scudetto with 82 points. They will be joined by Inter Milan, Atalanta, and Juventus in the Champions League next season, who take on the number 2, 3, and 4 spot, respectively. And then, of course, Roma have, with their win, get that Europa League spot with 69 points. Nice. And then, as you said, our Fiorentina have 65 points. They finish in the Conference League spot, in number 6 spot, obviously, with 65 points. I think I said that already. Lazio also has 65 points. That's why I wanted to say it again, but they were on goal differential is what they had. So, yeah, not. I mean, it's one of our teams. One of our teams is getting some European tournaments.
Some action.
Yeah, we're
European
good.
action.
Nice, very nice. Not so nice down here at the bottom of the table. We have the relegation squad. Empoli, Venezia, and Monza all have been relegated this season. They will be in Serie B. Is it what you said, right? Serie B.
I don't ask me. I don't know how to say it. You have the Italian friend here.
Yeah, you're right. I need to ask him. He's probably, if he's listening, like pissed off at me right now. I'm sorry, Christian.
If I had to say it though, I would say that it's probably not B. It's probably like B.
B or
definitely
like
not Ba. But
more than likely.
I don't know.
Serie B.
Sure.
Yeah, I like it. Either way.
Siri lit up on my phone because it thought I said Siri. That's hilarious. Serie A.
I wonder if we're making anybody else's phones go off too.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Either way, Venezia did get relegated. I even took away their badge and gave them back their Google badge. That's what Google has for them for some reason. But yeah,
rude.
There has been. I did take a look. Monza did have a pretty bad season. It was not historic. I cannot say the same for the other two leagues that we're going to talk about. And I do have some numbers and stuff to come up. Yeah, whenever we go over those, we'll go over some historic numbers for you. But Snooze, anything on this table you want to go over now that we have it up right now?
Yeah, the team in 9th place, Bologna, is also going to be in the Europa League because they won the Coppa Italia. So just want to call that out. Obviously, it's not on the table because it has nothing to do with the table. It was a different tournament altogether. But they are in the Europa League, as I mentioned earlier, even though they are in 9th place. So that's how they got there. And we'll talk about the rest of the teams that made it as we get to those leagues.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Was there anything else? I didn't see any.
No, because usually there's a match that we talk about, but there was so much going on. What we can talk about though is just kind of the drama and everything that kind of went on with these matches because as I was watching them, it was kind of known from the start on Friday anyways that Napoli were going to beat Cagliari. They went up pretty early and then they got that second goal and it was kind of like you understood that Inter were not going to win the Scudetto and it was going to go to Naples. But the games that were really cool to watch for me, I guess cool is not a good word for it because there was some relegation involved. But it was cool to see Parma putting it all out there to beat Atalanta because they knew that with a loss, it could have been pretty bad. It was slim chances that they could have got relegated, but it was possible. And, you know, Atalanta, they're a team that's about to be in the Champions League. So it was just really, really good to see them put that best foot forward. And they're staying up. I love the kits too. The Black Cross. It's just iconic. I don't know. I love it. So they're staying up. And I'm excited for the teams that did stay up. Lecce, like they get the win over Lazio, which Lazio, that wasn't a fun time. But I was watching on YouTube. They have a bunch of different, like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like documentaries, but they're small and it's for Serie A. They make them and they kind of show players and talk about the culture in Lecce. And I watched it recently and I was kind of rooting for them behind the scenes. Like, I hope they stay up because the city looks cool. And it was cool to see them, the players and how, you know, just how they interact with the fans and everything. So now that they're in Serie A, maybe we'll see them one day. That's what I was hoping for. Not to say that, you know, Venice and Empoli and Monza aren't cool places, but yeah, it is what it is. But that's it. That's all I want to talk about. It was a good Serie A season. It was the most fun season or league, I guess we should say, because a lot of stuff wasn't decided until this past weekend. So any final thoughts for your 24-25 season, Vic?
For Serie A, I think it's just a great way to end things for us Americans out there. No draws last week. No draws. All winners and losers. So, you know, Americans hate ties. Right. Dang it.
So I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good on
that's
you,
why I
Serie
felt
A.
so right. That's why I felt so right.
Yeah, that's probably why. But anyway, to a
Okay.
good Serie A season. I just want to drink some more. So there we go.
Cheers. There you go. Yes. We have 2 more times to do that. So,
Yes, we do.
okay. Well, that's it. And just to let everyone know, we are going to be going Thursdays throughout the off season, and we'll start off with doing a breakdown, tying a bow on the 24-25 seasons of each of the leagues that we covered, including Bundesliga, which ended last week, or at this point 2 weeks ago.
Mhm.
And so anyway, we're going to be covering everything from our favorite goal to our surprise team, player of the year, all these things. We're going to be going through each of these leagues and talking about that. So if you aren't getting the fill for the 24-25 season, or you just want a little bit more and kind of recapping what happened, we'll be doing that with you soon. So stay tuned. Okay. That
Yes,
was almost
sir.
gross. Someone burped in the mic. Let's move right along to Spain.
Let's do it to La Liga. Smooth.
The award-winning, smoothest
Yes.
Spanish song on a football podcast.
We gotta,
trying to make
we're just gonna use that in the offseason, right? We gotta use it somehow in the offseason.
Yeah, somehow we got to throw it in there. We can't wait
Good
that
music.
long.
Yeah.
Or maybe we should build up, the absence makes the heart grow fonder,
You're
Just
right.
like they can't wait. So yeah, if we do it
We'll
too
see.
much, they might not like it anymore.
You're right. Okay, we'll see.
Well, we have to talk about some of these games here in La Liga, and this one wasn't as exciting on the final days for La Liga because pretty much most of the table was wrapped up. But there were some fun matches still, and it all kicked off Friday when Real Betis and Valencia ended 1-1 in an entertaining match that saw Anthony bless us with another curler, a beauty of a goal. He kissed the badge afterwards, and it just makes you think, like, is he going to stay or is he going? What's going on? Technically, he is a Manchester United player, but the way he played, it almost makes me think that he might have played himself out of being purchased by Betis. Because let's be honest, they're a team that they're not going to have Champions League money, and they're not historically a team that goes after some of the bigger talents, if you will, out in the wild. So the way that he played, though, you can't deny it. And if they have a Conference League final, and if you're watching this on what's today? Oh, it's Tuesday. We usually do it on Monday. So yeah, you're probably watching it today. If he's curling in the banger for the winner, then that price just goes up. So I don't know, man. It's kind of sad to see if they price themselves out because he's so good with them. But either way, he had a wonderful goal. They end up drawing with Valencia, and it's a good way to end for both teams. I just want to see what happens this summer with his contract and where he ends up going. Because this is not the player that we saw with United.
Yeah, not at all. And maybe he just wants to play in European tournaments. He's not going to get that with Manchester United, obviously. You got to stay with Real Betis.
Let's go. Oh, God. It's so fun. It's so fun to be a winner. Okay, let's go on to Saturday. Cheers to that. Saturday, we had Real Madrid getting a 2-0 win over La Real at the Bernabeu. And it was a special night as they said farewell to club legends Luka Modric and their manager, Carlo Ancelotti. And Lucas Vazquez is gone as well. And I think it looks like he's going to Saudi Arabia. But it's a fitting into the night as the new player that's trying to build his legacy for Los Blancos gets a brace, and that is Mbappe, and bringing his tally in La Liga this season, Vic, to 31 goals. He wins the Golden Boot with 31. That is crazy. And yeah, it was a very emotional night. And it's awesome to see because Luka Modric, as you may know, he's not just a Real Madrid legend. He's also a Spurs legend. That's where he came from. That's where all of his roots are. Probably Croatia, he would say, but still. Leganes secure a 3-0 win over Valladolid, and they do their part to stay up because Espanyol break their hearts with a 2-0 win over Las Palmas, sending them to the Segunda División. So yeah, Leganes wins, and doesn't matter because they're going down. And it was a fitting way because when I look at the squads, Espanyol and Leganes, we can break it down more later, but just I feel like Espanyol is the deeper squad. They're the better squad. Leganes, they were getting by with a really good defensive record. We talked about it maybe in like the halfway point. They're probably one of the best goals against teams, or team that had the best goals against. They were over. What's the word I'm looking for? They were doing better than they should have. Like they were outproducing their expected goals, I guess is the best way to put it. But anyway, it caught up to them, and they ended up being one of the bottom of the table in conceding, and it's fitting. Espanyol were better. But that's not all that we had going on in La Liga. We had a couple more matches that meant something, and it started with Celta Vigo, and they get an 80th minute winner to take all 3 points from Getafe and confirm their Europa League place next season. And who was it with the decisive goal? None other than Iago Aspas, the club legend. Beautiful stuff. They were throwing him up in the air afterwards. He ripped off his kid and was kissing the badge, and it was just an awesome thing to see. They're in the Europa League for first time in a while. Let's see if we can get our stat man on that. When you get a chance, JFam, if you could hit us up with last time that Celta Vigo were in Europe, that'd be good to know. I should have looked that up. Why didn't I have that in my notes? I don't know. But I do have something else in my notes because Rayo Vallecano and Mallorca go 0-0, and it was a nervy wait for Rayo as they needed Osasuna to not score again to secure their European dreams. And it happened, and Rayo makes it to Europe in the Conference League for the first time. Well, not for the first time in the Conference League, but the first time in Europe in 25 years. And the scenes were crazy. The fans stormed the field. Great time, great memories. And I hear rumors, though, that Rayo might not be able to play in Europe because their stadium isn't up to par. Like, it's so small, or maybe, I don't know. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I heard rumors that they were like, yeah, you can't. And after seeing Spurs play a Europa League semi in Bodo Glimt with a tiny stadium, I'm like, how can Rayo, like, what's wrong with their stadium? I have no idea, but that's just a rumor that I saw. Let's see. Celta Vigo last were in the Europa League competition in 2017. Oh, eliminated by Manchester United in the semifinals. Damn. So they almost got to the dance. They almost got to the big thing. Okay. Well, let's see if they can do that again. Okay. Yeah. Rayo Vallecano back in Europe for the first time in 25 years. So cool. But also Alaves and Osasuna in 1-1, splitting the points. And of course, that meant that Osasuna were in the outside looking into the European spots in the 9th place. Sad day for Osasuna, but Alaves, they needed that point to be safe. They got it. They are staying up. And really, if you're in the 9th place in your table, you're like right above mid-table, but like right at mid-table, you can't be sad that you didn't get into Europe. Dude, you got to, I mean, let's get a few more points if you want to really cry about not getting into Europe. But it would have been cool to see them there because we talked about it last time. Anta Budimir, and just that stadium. I like a lot of different things about Osasuna. They just couldn't get it done. And then on Sunday, we had Girona, who lose at home to Atleti 4-0 with Sorloth getting another hat trick, this time off the bench. And maybe he needs to stop scoring hat tricks off the bench because El Cholo is going to look at that and say, well, then you can keep becoming a super sub. You can keep coming off the bench because obviously it's working for you. The guy's just really good. He's just clutch. It happens. Villarreal put a whooping on Sevilla with a 4-2 win. Watching this match, all I could think is that, damn, it is going to be fun watching this Villarreal side in the Champions League next season. Just finger crossed they all stay healthy because, as you remember, in the fall, there was a lot of injuries to their attacking players, and they were kind of struggling for points there. If they can stay fit, we can see them go through a lot of fun games, fun matchups in that Champions League next season. I'm excited for it already. And Barcelona win 3-0 at San Mamés in a game between two teams representing La Liga in the Champions League next season. Athletic Club and Barcelona, they kind of did what they needed to do to get the season over with. Barcelona get that win and take home the trophy. Well, they already had the trophy, but, it's done and dusted now. They made sure there was no doubts. Not like there were any anyways, but okay. Now, Vic, with all that said, that is what happened in match day 38. Where does the final table land in Serie A in 24-25?
Yes, as you said, Barcelona are the champions. Man, it must be nice to get a win after you're already declared the champions. We didn't know. Like Liverpool just took off, but Barcelona are your champions. Obviously, they will be joined by Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Athletic Club, and Villarreal in the Champions League next season. It's going to be fun. 5 teams going from there. All of them got wins except for Athletic Club. Obviously, they play Barcelona, so it kind of happens. But our Europa League spots go to Real Betis and Celta Vigo as well. They are in the number 6 and 7 spot, respectively. And then Rayo Vallecano, as you said a little while ago, are going to the Conference League. And they are first time in a while. When was it? I forgot when it was, but
25 years.
25 years, yes. 25 years since they've been. And get some European tournament.
It's just really
action.
cool.
Crazy.
Their stadium. I know you did the summer breakdowns of how big their stadium is, but I just for the faithful. You can go to the bottom table, the bottom of the table, and I'll look it up. How big the stadium is.
Sure. While he looks that up, we will introduce you to the relegation squad. I think we've already known 2 of these teams for a week at least, but you have Leganés, who have been relegated with 40 points. Las Palmas and Real Valladolid have already been relegated. We've known those for a couple extra weeks, actually. So they will be in La Liga 2, or I don't know, Segunda Liga is what it's called. Good luck next year, boys. And won't see you next year. I keep wanting to say we'll see you next year, but we won't. We won't see you next year. I do have some stats. I don't know if you have the Rayo Vallecano thing yet, but I do have some stats for Real Valladolid's very historic season.
Well, I'll say real quick that their stadium capacity is 14,708, which I think Bodo Glimt was smaller, so it can be a capacity issue. Maybe there's something else going on. I don't know. I'll have that up for our next pod. I got to figure it out.
Maybe it's like restrooms or
right, like something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, I don't know. But just to speak on Valladolid's historically bad season, so they've set 3 records. For the first record they set was the most losses in a season with 30 in La Liga history.
Oh my God. 30 of 38 they lost. Wow.
Yeah. And then they also have, this is kind of like from the halfway point, the fewest points in a season for the closing half of the season. They have scored 1 point in the last, 19 games? Yeah, they scored 1 point in the final 19 games of the season. And then also, they set a record for the most consecutive losses in a season with 12, and it's still going. Right now, we just ran out of season. That's all it was. So I don't know if they're going to keep counting that if they happen to get promoted to La Liga and then keep losing. I don't know. We'll see.
But that's a good point.
We just ran out of season. They would have gotten longer. Who knows?
Probably.
But they got close to the lowest amount of points scored in a season. The lowest points was 13, set in 98 by a Sporting Gijon. Do you know?
Gijon.
It looked like Dijon mustard, so I was just gonna say it like Gijon.
I think that's in France. If I had to guess.
Yeah, more. Maybe, but yeah, they were lowest points. There was 13, so they beat that just by 1 win. And also it wasn't the worst goal differential. The worst goal differential was in 1951, set by Lieda. But they had a negative 93. So even though
oh my God,
Real Valladolid had a negative 64 goal differential, I guess things aren't as bad as they could be. I don't know. So
sure.
Yeah, those are some numbers on Real Valladolid's historic season, I guess you can say it that way. And I think it started as soon as I got this cup. So I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's when we had to check the tape, but I'm pretty sure that's whenever the 12 weeks ago was when the streak started.
Yeah,
when you got your cup. And calling out, you see that there's 2 teams in the Europa League in La Liga. That's because Barcelona won the Copa del Rey, which is the cup that the winner gets into the Europa League for. So, for instance, like Bologna won the Coppa Italia, they're in the Europa League because of it, because they weren't in the standings or in the table in the Europa League. Since Barcelona won the thing, they don't need the Europa League spot. They're in the Champions League, so it goes to the table. That's why there's 2 Europa League spots there. There you go. You know.
And now you know. More you know. Anything else on the table you want to call out while we got it up?
No, you said it all. I love seeing the Champions League, or I love seeing that Villarreal and Athletic Club are in the Champions League spots. Betis, Celta, and Rayo, all fitting clubs to be in Europe as well. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun to see them in there. and we kind of followed them along. So it's like all these teams are like I don't know. It's like watching your kids go to college
Yeah.
now. Like, yeah,
Dude,
that's cool. We followed you this whole time.
I feel the exact same way. Like I'm actually like super interested in Conference League, Europa League,
right.
all that. Now that we've been covering all season, because we've been,
right.
exactly. So I think that's pretty cool, and it's you took the words right out of my mouth. That was great. That's crazy. Yeah.
Okay. And there's not a whole lot for us to recap as far as the games that happened, because, like I was saying, a lot of it was wrapped up in La Liga already. The one thing that I will kind of call out again is the fact that it was really cool seeing Villarreal score, and the way they did, and the way they played, the way they built up. I cannot wait to see them in the Champions League. That's probably one of the teams that I'll be most excited to see. But then also, I want to see how the turnaround, I guess, for La Real, for Real Sociedad, because they were a team that I always liked. There was, the other Basque team, but that's not fair because they're just fighting right alongside Athletic Club. But now they've had a horrible season, and they still weren't that bad in the table. I mean, they're close, but it just couldn't put it all together. And they have Oyarzabal, who was playing for Spain in the not the Champions League in the summer. It was the Euros, sorry. And it just to see how it never came together, I want to know what happened and see what changes are being made this coming season. So, yeah, just a lot of questions that I have about this, the teams that are staying in La Liga, and especially for Espanyol, who just barely survived. Will they be better? Can they be better? They had a run there. I'm looking forward to the next season already, which I'm counting down. It's like 80-something days. That's all we have to wait. So not too much.
Nice.
Yeah.
Not bad. And be sure to subscribe because you're going to get all your information right here at the No Business Soccer Podcast. We'll have it all for you.
Yes, sir. Look at you. All right. Half drunk and everything.
Got to throw it out there. Yeah.
Well, let's wrap this pod up by going to jolly old England.
Let's do it to the Prem.
Oh, boom, baby. It's all said and done. So let's jump right in. There was I don't know, whatever you want to call it. All the matches played at a single time. They were unified. But on Sunday was it like 10 a.m., I think it was, they all played and everything, the chaos was going on. A lot of fun. And we're going to break them all down right now because it started off, didn't start off. They all started off at the same time, but Bournemouth get a 2-0 win over Leicester to finish 9th in the table and with more points than they've ever had in the Premier League season, which is really cool. But also they finished 9th before and they had 10 less points. So it just tells you the level of the clubs have gotten better in the Prem. And I think they scored, or they were 9th in the 2018-19 season, something like that. Not too long ago. So yeah, teams have definitely gotten better. And Bournemouth, they're keeping pace. City take all 3 points from Fulham at Craven Cottage as Omar Marmoush, he just might have scored the goal of the season. And yeah, recency bias much. I mean, I understand that, but it was a great goal. And if you watch it, the dude is facing this way, hits the ball, and it goes this way into the top corner. I mean, we see it all the time, but whenever you see it in slow motion, it's like poetry. It's like art. It's crazy. And yeah, one last time. We've been saying this since he was in Frankfurt earlier this season, but Marmoush is on fire. Yeah. There you go.
I will say, snooze real quick. I just watched I think the CBS YouTube of the top 15 goals of the Premier League season. That goal was number 1. Marmoush's goal.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
That was goal season.
Recency bias much.
So far, yeah, we'll see.
Okay, well, I'm going to be doing that too. I'm going to be watching those as well. Maybe we'll watch them all together when we go to your house for the Champions League final to eat some picanha this Saturday.
Bring it on over. I'll throw it on the grill. Yeah, good.
Wow, you see this? This is what I get. Guy goes to Mexico. I'm stuck here cleaning baby poopy diapers, and he doesn't even care.
That's okay. Just bring the baby. We'll do whatever you want. It's okay.
All right, cool. All right. Brentford draw 1-1 with Wolves, and it ends great seasons for both teams. Both sides, they're poised to have their best players poached from them, but they gave everything they had because I think even though they had great seasons, no European seasons. Obviously, Wolves were closer to relegation than not, but well, who am I to talk? Anyway, moving on. The point was they're going to have their best players poached from them, and it's already been rumored, but we're expecting to see from Brentford Visa and Mbemo. I hope I'm pronouncing those right. I say them all the time whenever I'm like, oh yeah, it's Wissa and Mbemo, but that's so anglicized. But Visa and Mbemo, they should be out the door, as Cunha should be gone from. Actually, I think I saw there they're paying his United is paying his release clause, so he should be out this summer as well. But it was cool to see them all take part. Actually, I don't know if Cunha did, but either way, Brentford draw 1-1 with Wolves, and might not see the same teams next season. Forest fall at the City ground to Chelsea 1-0, and the loss squashed their Champions League dreams like bugs, but they still qualified for Europe, and I feel like this was the team I was talking about. I think I even said their name earlier, but it felt like they qualified for the Conference League, and they're disappointed by it. And I think the disappointment is misplaced because they shouldn't be disappointed that they got into Europe, but it's only Conference League. They should be disappointed because they were in the Champions League spots and then ended up letting it go at the tail end because they just didn't have the squad depth to make it the full 38. But this is why they probably shouldn't be in the Champions League, because what are you going to do when you're playing damn near 50 plus games next season? And I mean, technically they still would be playing it, but the Conference League level is going to be a lot less than the Champions League level. And if you're the real team, if you're a team that thinks they're, hot stuff coming through from the Prem, going into the little Conference League, go win it. Do what Chelsea's doing. We'll find out. Although Chelsea might not win it either. We'll find out you'll see today. We'll find out tomorrow. But either way, Chelsea are back in the Champions League with this win. This was the match of the weekend that we were talking about in the Prem, the one that had the most bearing on other teams, and Chelsea just get it done. They seem to find a way. So I think even if because the Conference League, that spot doesn't go to the table. Like if if they would have won and they're already in the Europa League, then or the Champions League, then how does that spot go for the Europa League? That doesn't go to the table. They don't do that for the Conference League. So with that, the table is final, and we'll see that here in just a moment. Villa will feel hard done by with a 2-0 loss to United, which who loses to United? Come on. I mean, Spurs beat them 4 times. Good golly. Anyway, Miss Male, which means that they are in a terrific they had a terrific run in the Champions League this season. So they were in form, and they got these nice players, and it was really fun to watch for a while. And that ends in one season. There's no more Champions League for them, at least for 1 year. They're in the Europa League, which cool. They can still win that and get in there. So maybe they do that. But I think with the people they brought in, there's a lot of loans as well. We'll see if they all end up staying. Obviously, they're not going to all stay, but who stays and where they end up going next season. They do have Europe. It's just not the one that they wanted, not the competition they wanted. But I said they'll feel hard done by because Villa had Emi Martinez sent off for, if you haven't seen it, he hit sticked Hoyland. Like he demolished him. And like a safety coming down, like Roy Williams. There you go. Coming down from the 2000s or 90s. I can't remember when he played. But anyway, dude just leveled Hoyland, gets sent off. And then they get a goal. They go goal up, but it was called off because of a foul on the United keeper. And watching it, like it was pretty aggressive towards the keeper that's grabbing the ball. They said he bobbled it. I think maybe he bobbled it because a dude charged at him when he was picking it up. It just seemed like something you don't notice or you don't see a lot. You usually see the players respect, hey, keeper's right there. I'm not going to get it. Let it go. But also I don't play. So maybe people will think I'm an idiot for saying that. I don't know. It just looked like something that you don't see a lot. Like you see a dude kind of pull up a little bit like, okay, keeper's got it. And that didn't happen. And so they're blaming it on the ref. I say, it's United. Don't let them score 2 goals on you. Like that's so dumb.
Easy to do.
Yeah, easy. Really easy to do. Come on. So anyway, Villa are in the Europa League. Arsenal claim runners-up as they're always the bridesmaid and never the bride. Oh, with a 2-1 win over Southampton. Newcastle end up losing 1-0 to Everton, but still sneak into the Champions League places thanks to Aston Villa's loss to United. It's a weird end of the season for Newcastle, but job's done. They get into the Champions League. That's secured. And they win their first trophy for 70 years. With the Carabao Cup, which is really a good season for Newcastle. It's just weird that it ended on a sour note. Like, you don't want that. Liverpool and Crystal Palace do a weird dual guard of honor thing for for the FA Cup and the Premier League champs. We'll talk about that here in a
A
second.
respectful
There
double
you
guard.
go. The match ends 1-1 with Salah scoring the goal for Liverpool, adding to his ridiculous tallies this season, not just of goal scoring, but like his assist, his goal contributions, which is assists and goals. It's just stupid. If he does this again next season, how does he not win Ballon d'Or? How does he not win it this season? It's not that he might. I don't know, but I'm just saying it's insane. Okay, West Ham get another win for Mr. Potter. Oh, sorry, Mr. Potter. This time a 3-1 win over Ipswich Town, and all eyes turn to the offseason now, as there are questions being raised about Mr. Potter's job security, and it's kind of weird because he just got this job. Spurs lose in the league yet again as they drop points at home to Brighton in a 4-1 loss. I'm honestly surprised that Ange Postecoglou put out a strong team as he did, because I just watched these dudes on Instagram Live nursing hangovers all on Saturday, and now they're playing a day later in a game in the Prem. No way they should have, they weren't feeling good. The fact that they went up a goal was really cool to see, but they were just drinking and eating and having so much fun 2 days before, and then they go out there and what did you think was going to happen? Come on, no Spurs fan can be mad at this. Son was drunk in front of thousands of people, dropping F-bombs. You effing deserve it. They shouldn't have played this with the starters. That's messed up.
Man.
But it's hilarious. So anyway, fair play to Brighton. They've done it. They had a great season under Fabian Hürsler. The umlaut gets me, but Hürsler. This season, we were wondering how it would be with a 30-something-year-old coach coming from St. Pauli to the Prem, but hey, he got them in the top half of the table, and maybe they're poised to do better stuff next season. We'll find out. Okay, let's get out of here before Vic falls asleep. Look at boy, drinking on a beach. He wants to get out of here. So, Vic, anything you want to talk about in the Prem before we get to the table?
I have a stat, but actually, let me just ask it. There's only been no, we'll do it afterwards. It makes more sense.
Okay, all right. Let's go to the table. Let's go to the table.
All right, taking a look at the table. Of course, Liverpool are your champions, and it feels so damn good. Joining them in the Champions League will be Arsenal, Manchester City, Chelsea, and Newcastle United in the 2, 3, 4, 5 spots, respectively. And then if you scroll down far enough and you just keep going a little bit more, you'll see the Tottenham Hotspurs joining also in the Champions League, just 1 point above, 1 place above relegation, ending up in the 17th spot.
Don't care.
Doesn't matter. Don't care. I sent you that. So you think don't care. Still in Champions League spot. So
yeah, don't care.
Congratulations. I was also going for Tottenham, so it's okay. If you look in the number 6 spot, you'll see Aston Villa. They will be in our Europa League spot. And then the FA Cup winners, Crystal Palace, of course, with that double guard of honor when they played Liverpool, will be joining them in the Europa League. And even though they finished 12th, going to be joining some European tournament. So it was a great guard of honor.
Just win a trophy. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter where you are on the table. Just win a trophy. You'll be all right. It's easy.
And then Nottingham Forest, the Cinderella story, the greatest story of the Premier League, will still take home a Conference League spot. And we wish them the best of luck. Honestly, what a great story from the season.
That's going to be fun. I think they can win more games there. I'm more excited to see them in the Conference League than in the Champions League.
Maybe you are. I don't know. It's just, wouldn't it be crazy if they made Champions League too? I don't know. We'll never know. It doesn't matter. They're in the Conference League spot. We're all going to be rooting for them. I'm going to be rooting for them. Like I just said, following all these teams has made me want to watch these European tournaments a lot more. So that's going to be a lot of fun next year. So we will see. 3 things we will not see next year are Leicester City, Ipswich Town, and Southampton, because they have all been relegated. They will be having some dates with Wrexham, since Wrexham made it to the championship.
Hey.
So let's see how they do. And good luck next season, boys. And then Southampton also had a historic season with 30 losses. They actually have the most defeats in a season for a Premier League season. I keep saying season, but 30 losses apparently is the key. Valladolid also had 30 losses, set a record. And now Southampton, 30 losses in a season, most in a Premier League season. I keep saying that, but we're all season thing. They also have the fewest home points in a season with 6. And also the fewest home wins with one. So they got 6 home points and only one was a win. So they've only
That's
won one
crazy.
time in front of their own supporters, which sucks. But um, look, they got a little bit closer. They were only 1 point shy of the fewest points in a season. Is owned by Derby County or Darby County. I don't know how they say it in England.
Darby.
Darby County. They own that record of 11, and they set that in 2008. And also, they are just 9 short of the worst goal differential set by Derby County and Sheffield United with a negative 69. Nice goal
Hey.
differential is what they had. So just 9 goals short, or 9 goals against short of that record. So another another record setting season, but just not in a good way. Anything on the table you want to go talk about while we got it up?
I'm excited to see Palace in the Europa League. That's going to be really cool. And of course, I'm excited to see Spurs as well. Now, we'll see how they end up faring, but I have a feeling, sneaky feeling, that it'll be fun. It'll be a fun season. And all the teams that are in the Champions League outside of Spurs, you kind of expected them to be there. So I would say overall, good season for the Prem. It turned out the way that maybe not Liverpool winning. We thought maybe Manchester City would, but definitely we thought they would be in the Champions League spots. So, and the relegation spots, I think we've seen enough evidence to know that they're probably going to come up and come back down. And hopefully it doesn't happen next season. We have some good teams coming up. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. So good season. Good Prem season.
I agree. And it was a great season for Mohamed Salah, who tied the record for most goal contributions with 47. And my little fact nugget here that I had for you, that there have only been 2 players in the top 5 leagues that have scored 10 goals and 10 assists, both in the last 2 seasons. One of them is Mohamed Salah. Do you know the other one?
In other leagues, or we're talking about this league?
That's in the top 5 leagues of Europe. So
that
all the 4 we cover
10 and 10 for the past how many seasons?
The last 2 years, this year and last year. There's only been 2 players that have 10 and 10.
I could sit here and try to guess, but I'm going to save the time. So go ahead.
Florian Little Uzi Verts.
Damn, yeah, he had a great
crazy.
Season. I should have said that. Why is it crazy, Vic? Let me ask you, why is it
crazy? Because I think it's been all but confirmed he's going to be red next year.
Pisses me off.
He's going to be.
It's so stupid. He's one of my favorite players to watch.
With Frimpong too. Oh man,
one of my favorite players to watch, and he just let me just go to this team.
I'll buy you a kit.
Everything.
Buy you a kit.
No, I'm good. It's almost as bad as watching Captain America go over to Chelsea. Like when Pulisic went to Chelsea, it was just like, this is horrible. I'm not watching this team all the time. And this is kind of the same way. Little Uzi verse is so fun to watch, and now I just
I would be watching him more.
For your team. Seeing him bang in a hat trick against Spurs next season is not going to be fun, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's kind of bittersweet because we have I think also Harvey Elliott, whose body will pretty much be taken.
Harvey Elliott was a left back or something.
No,
he's a winger.
He's a winger. Well, he plays mid sometimes. No, he's a winger.
I don't know.
But he's already kind of like cryptically said, thank you, Reds, for everything. I think he knows that the writing's on the wall. We got Verts, and he'll probably be gone. So that's a little bittersweet because Harvey Elliott is such a great player. He's going to be amazing. And but it just sucks. And then also, Verts, if we get Frimpong as well, I think Frimpong's already been confirmed. So yeah, it's going to be a good season next season.
One of those. While we're talking about our teams, Johnny Cardoso is coming to Spurs, apparently, is what I heard. The U.S. men's national player. Look at that. Okay, that'd be pretty cool. The only other time it happened was Yedley, and that didn't turn out very good. So, or Yedlin, sorry, I said Yedlin. Yeah.
DeAndre
Yedlin. It didn't turn out well. I think he played like one time for Pochettino, and then he got sent on loan. But
if it's any consolation, Snooze, that you're gonna watch Verts play with us. I had to watch Sun play with you guys for years, and I've
Oh,
wanted Sun.
very true.
I've wanted Sun forever,
You said that for a while. Hey,
for a
you know what?
long
Now that he
time.
won a trophy with Spurs, he's gonna be like, "Can I get out of here, please?
Yeah,
Can I go
like
win something
I
all
did
the
my
time?"
job,
Yeah, let's get out of here.
yeah.
Okay. Well, before we get out of here, let's talk real quick about the European finals that are coming up. Let's go to the Europa League or European conferences.
Competitions.
There. That's why you're my hype league.
Yeah,
We're approaching the hour mark, so you got to get out of
yeah.
here. But I will say, real quick, the conference league final is today. If you're watching this on Wednesday, and that is between Betis and Chelsea, and I'm excited for this one. This one, I'm glad because I can kind of sit and rest the rest of the finals and watch them. Like I'm glad that the Europa League final isn't this one because then I couldn't enjoy it. You know, I don't know. It's just like the anxiety of being a Spurs fan and watching them play in the final. But now that I know Spurs already have it in the bag, everything's good. Like I'm just so chill and I'm ready to watch this final. I'm ready to watch Chelsea lose this final. What do you say, Vic?
I agree. I agree. Ready to watch Chelsea lose, but also, I mean, just equally, I'm also trying to find our Serie A Betis win. So this is gonna be great.
Very true.
We will
Yeah.
see. And yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody will be watching. So.
So many good players on both teams. I'm just excited. And then, of course, I don't know if we'll talk to you before it, but we'll definitely talk about it after it happens. The Champions League final. We'll all be sitting having picanha at this man, High Man Vic's house on Saturday, 2 p.m. It's going to be amazing. But we have PSG versus Inter, and we just saw Inter disappointed because they didn't win the Scudetto. I'm putting in that accent mark in there, baby.
That was nice.
And, man, excuse me. It's going to be cool because they're going against the PSG side who have been trying to get this for so many years. The Zlatans, the Neymars, the Messis, the Mbappes, none of them could do it. But Ousmane Dembele might be the man that can. Oh, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch this match. Vic, I'm going for PSG personally. What about you?
Gotta go PSG. They beat Liverpool. They're the best team. They were gonna win.
Oh yeah,
I've been
yeah,
saying
yeah.
that as soon as they beat Liverpool.
I forgot.
No way PSG loses this. No way.
Yes, yeah. Is that why Spurs won the Europa League? Because we also beat Liverpool.
You know what? Yeah, that's exactly why.
Hey,
that's exactly why.
you.
You're welcome.
All right.
You're welcome.
Okay, that's it for this episode. Vic, take us over.
All right. Everyone, thank you for spending some time with us and talking about some European football. Let us know down in the comments what you thought or you expected from the season that didn't happen, maybe did happen. We'd love to talk to you and interact with you guys. Everyone, stay tuned. Be sure to like and subscribe because we will be coming to you guys, I believe, Friday to talk about this Champions League match, and then we will also tell you our plans for the off season. We will still be here with you at least once a week. Follow us everywhere at No Business Soccer Podcast, except for Twitter, except for TikTok. That's at No Biz Sock Pod because those names were too damn long, and I've been talking too damn long. Everyone have a good week, and we will talk to you soon.
Peace.